Welcome to Beyond the Classroom with Miss LaRose, the podcast where we explore the stories, experiences, and ideas that shape education and life beyond the classroom. Today's episode falls under our social emotional learning umbrella. My special guest is mindset coach Ivania. Ivania, thank you so much for joining us. The title of this episode is called Seeing the Person Before Seeing the Personality. So, Ivania, tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor and pleasure to be here with you and sharing this space. Um, yes, I became a coach not too long ago, and it's not that I wanted to become a coach. So I was more, you know, going in my journey of learning about life and learning why certain people act the way they act or decide to do things that they don't really have a passion for it. And I guess that's how I wanted to start this podcast. I wanted to start more about like becoming who I am today. It was more about of a journey of of being more
Intentional?
intentional, but I was looking more for the word, you know, I wasn't in a safe space. And today I feel like this Ivania, not with a baby, married, and being in a safe space, I was able to say now that I am the person that I always wanted to be from really inside.
Right. Oh, wow. That's very powerful because it takes people a lot of time to get there, and some people never reach that level. So I'm curious to learn about how you reached that. What does see the person before you see the personality mean to you?
Wow, that's my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will always be because it's a practice. What? Because when I see someone, I see the human being. I don't see the personality because the personality is like mask. It's ruled. It's something that we have to play with. Either you're a mother, you're a teacher, you're a bus driver, you're an educator, you name it. There's a bunch of different roles. But I don't see that. What I see is always a person. So every time, whenever I talk to someone, I see the whole person. And then I can move from there.
Okay. Right, because a person is a person before their personality.
Yes.
Even when a child is born, they don't have a personality yet,
Exactly.
but they're a person. Okay.
Yes.
So, what happens when we reduce people's personality traits or diagnosis? What happens when we, I guess, and they give them labels without really knowing them?
We don't allow that person to grow. We just give him a reason to continue be that label, whatever they feel called. Like, oh, I'm a terrible, or I'm a terrible child, or I'm just like the way I am.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easy just to get to that answer than actually going inward and see more like, why do I have this behavior? Why trigger me that I have to respond like this? So I think that's also when I talk to someone, regardless if that person is upset or calm or it just anxious or nervous, like those are just emotions that are coming up, but that's not the person.
The person.
So it's more about giving them space to be without judging them why they're going that through there, because there's a reason why they're going through that emotion. But it's a lot when if I say, oh, it's just a problem child, they would leave it like that.
Yeah.
We're not really going inward
And
to look for the answers.
so you really think that people don't have a fixed personality? Their personality changes over time.
Yeah, but yes, because it's just a role.
Yeah.
It's like it's just something, it's a habit also. It turns into a habit because when you go to study, let's say, for example, if, let's say, a teacher.
Yes.
A teacher is not a teacher when he goes back home.
Yes.
or when he's with friends, or so you know what I mean? So that's why we play different roles. So I'm not only a wife, I'm not only a mother, I'm Ivania. Yeah. I'm a human being, with a bunch of roles that I have to be. But the key is to be authentic enough to play those roles within your power, within your control, and allow them the rest to be.
And you mentioned educator, as you know that I am an educator, and this is an education podcast. How can educators and parents learn to see the whole person or the whole child?
Everything starts with ourselves, with one. And I think the key that I work on every single day is the nervous system. If I don't feel safe, then myself, who I truly am, is not able to come out because I feel judged, because I feel that somebody's putting a label on me, but it's not at the other person also to have that responsibility. Yeah. It's my responsibility to be safe with myself. So to get to know myself so I can give that security to me first. In the nervous system, if your nervous system is not in a place of feeling safe, then it will be really hard. And then for others, once we start working within ourselves, then you're able to have that safety net for others because you allow them to be.
It's almost like if we don't see ourselves as a whole person, we won't be able to see anyone else as a whole person.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. What limiting beliefs do you see most often?
Not enough. That we don't feel enough. We don't feel enough. Something's missing. And be going back to labels. Because someone is already put a label, either teachers or either parents or the society. I mean, the whole world, whole social media. So I think also going into the route or getting to know yourself, find a place of peace within yourself, and then create the safety net of being safe and working on your body. Like, what is it that your body is telling you that you don't feel safe? Because your body is always talking to you. So I think the minute you start feeling safe, then you're able to come out. Because you don't feel judged. You don't feel or that you're not enough. And one thing that I always want to say is that we already enough because we're here. We already here. And we don't need to build anything to give us that enoughness that we have in ourselves. Nobody can give it to us. And that's another thing, working with yourself, you start to realize that you're enough. Because since you're little, you already came equipped. So what we're doing in this life is just learning different techniques, different experiences, different things. And as you grow, then you start acquiring more tools or how to deal with certain situations. So I think just enough, it's a big part of it.
Yeah. So how could we become more self-aware?
The nervous system. The nervous system is guiding you. You become more aware where you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Where
So true.
Yeah.
Right. So true. Yes.
But as you become aware, you're working yourself. But we're trying to tell her, oh, don't talk to me like this, don't talk to me. It's not about that. It's how you present yourself. But how do you present yourself comes first, how you feeling inside.
Yeah. And I want to expand on the nervous system aspect because when it comes to social emotional learning in schools, we teach the children how to be self-aware of what they're feeling in the moment instead of responding before they can actually kind of decode what they're feeling in their nervous system. Do you think that this is the same for adults, where we have to kind of take note of what our nervous system is feeling first before we even speak or before we even make decisions?
100%. Because that's what we're learning.
Yeah.
So we start having this conditioning since little, because most of us don't know. I mean, our parents didn't have this kind of understanding because it wasn't out there. Now we live in a world where everything it's out there and is reachable. Now we're talking about it. So we already being a condition. And even like myself, I'm conditioning my daughter, certain things that maybe I don't become aware right away, but then she's already conditioned. Right?
Yeah.
So I think also as a grown up, as an adult, we still have to, work within ourselves to uncode that conditioning, especially us, because we already passed as being young, and when the parents they do the best, that's the best. So it's just time for you
To kind of do the best for yourself.
Exactly.
What role does self-compassion play in growth?
Wow. I think that's the ground, that's the base, the really, really, because you have to be compassionate to yourself first. And it's not because you're being selfish. There's people sometimes confuses that. It's how do you, how can you be compassionate to yourself and understand yourself first? Because when you start not beating yourself up for not feeling enough, for not able to achieve certain things, or for not arriving at the place that you want to arrive at, instead of beating yourself up, you feel more compassionate to you and talk to yourself in a way that it's okay this time. What is it that you can learn so you can do in the next step? And it's more giving yourself that, we go back to the nervous system, the peace. And then from there, it start to be more like a ripple effect with others. You get that's how you meet others. When somebody is not arriving, achieving, you start understanding that they go in their face, they go in their at whatever level where they at. So you become that compassionate person for that person. So you hold them.
It's directly connected to how we treat others, how we treat ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it sounds like it's selfish, but it's not selfish when you work on yourself.
Wow, Ivania, that's information that I think everyone can use. Educators, children, people working in corporate America. This is gold. This is amazing. What is one message you hope listeners remember from this interview?
That they're whole and complete and resourceful. We are very equipped. And always I like to say that we already won. We made it here. And this is like a playground. We just become aware of who we truly are. Not that we fully are going to understand it completely, because that's the journey. But as you start to become aware of your nervous system, then you start to become more authentic and be more you out there. And then you start not to pay attention of how others see you. Because most of the time people they're not going to understand you or even like you. And just to arrive in a place where you be okay with that, I think, or you already want, because you're going to attract the right people to you. Because everyone is going through their own journey.
Wow. Now, I have a question about the nervous system. I want to go back to that. What are some clues in our nervous system that lets us know how we're feeling? So, in other words, how do we determine what our nervous system is telling us?
That's a great question. That's a great question, because everything varies, but I give you a sense of our shoulders.
Okay.
When you go like
Yes.
and there's something that I check in all the time. Like even when I feel like nervous, starting the podcast where you're like nervous, so I'm checking in and say relax. So right away when I said to myself relax, because I've been in practice for such a long time, I'm referring to my shoulders. So my shoulders drop. And it's subconsciously because our body, they're trying to protect us all the time. That's why that when you talk to yourself, I talk to myself a lot, by the way, because I'm always checking in. So I think that's one of the clues, like relax your shoulder. And then you can ask yourself, why am I tense? What is it that is making me tense? And that is just the beginning of it. And also when also you're trying to have like a conversation that is really tough or uncomfortable for both parties, then also you check in first and see where is it that you're feeling it. And then you can actually take a couple of breaths, which I think is very important, just to breathe. Because also pay attention to your breathing is giving you the clue of what's happening around you. Because when you calm, how's your breathing?
Calm. Yep.
Not even aware, but you just
I'm just breathing. Yeah.
But when something is intense, the breathing starts to
Increase. Yeah. I even find that sometimes when I'm tense, if I tend to hold my breath without realizing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the body starts to tell you something. But because we're not so used to or checking in, then we just think it's normal. Like, yeah, that's what I do. And that's another label.
And that's another label. That's a fixed label on yourself.
Yes.
You know, one of the reasons why the nervous system is so important to me is because I work with children and because I recognize that I'm helping them to recognize their own nervous system and in turn remembering how I developed my own nervous system. And growing up, I didn't realize that my nervous system a lot of the times is trying to protect me. And a lot of times our nervous systems are having us brace ourselves and we have to let our nervous systems know you are safe.
Yes.
So that the nervous system topic is extremely important to me. It's personal to me. It's personal to my children, my students. It's personal to, my relationships. But when your nervous system is activated, what are some tips that we can use in order to kind of ground us?
Oh, I love that question because that's actually my work. Like that's what I do, for my client, and not just my client, myself.
Yes.
And especially my daughter, right? If she hit herself right away, if she hits herself in the let's say the table, the chair, whatever, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is relax. Why is that? Because the nervous system, like you said, is activated. So a chemical has already been released. So you have to allow when you aware that something is already triggered within your nervous system, take a pause and allow that chemical to go through your body.
Sit with it then.
It's not about sitting it, it's observing it.
Okay.
You're not engaging in it because when you engage, you increase that.
I see.
So it's observing it, breathe, and allow to be. Because once you release that chemical, it will go through, it will take a couple of minutes, and it will be gone. So always remember that. Breathe, relax, and allow it.
And allow it to just pass through.
Yeah.
It's a wave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Emotions are waves.
The waves.
Yeah. They don't, that's why you're not your emotions. You're not a label.
So what does, since the title of my podcast is called Beyond the Classroom, what does Beyond the Classroom mean to you?
I thought about that, that what's beyond the classroom is that there's life beyond classrooms. And we cannot hold, all the teachers or everyone, responsible for the whole human being of the students. Because they're coming in with other things.
Yes.
That as parents, we have to be mindful, too.
Yes.
So it's not about pointing fingers, and that's why I say I always try to see the person, the human being, not the teacher.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's like, let me have that conversation with a human being, because it's the same thing. You are a human being that also, doing your best.
Yes.
Everyone is trying, doing their best.
It's like a bunch of nervous systems just walking around.
Exactly.
We're all just a bunch of nervous systems.
But that's the thing, like, I'm so happy for nowadays that everything is able to be talked about. Even now, the professional tennis players, the basketball, that everyone is starting to talk about what they really feeling. Back in the day, they didn't.
Yep.
And that helped us, because then we can say, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I feel that way too.
Yes.
And, it is a little bit, I would say, sad that our parents and the generation before us didn't have the tools and the access to what we have now. And I think it's almost an encouragement for us to maybe teach the older generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? One thing that I hold is more about holding space.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Because you understand that they didn't have that back then. And if they wouldn't opened to hear what I had to say or what you had to say about the nervous system, it's great. But if they don't, then also you're in a good place, because you're just holding the space.
Just holding the space. Wow. Sometimes holding space is all a nervous system needs.
Yeah.
Wow. So where can people connect with you? Because I think a lot of people need a mindset coach, even if it's just one session, even if it's just talking about things that trigger your nervous system.
Exactly.
So where can people connect with you?
They can follow me in Instagram, Ivania Mindset Coach, in TikTok, Facebook, and you can reach me there. You can DM me if you have any questions. And one thing that you said that I wanted to respond to is that we need more safe space in order for us to discover where is it in the nervous system that we don't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to perform better, to be able to understand, and even to able to be that person that you really want to be without holding you back.
Oh, thank you so much, Ivania, for joining us at Idea of the Classroom. To be part of the conversation, please click the link in the bio. I would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.